to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Mic check. Mic check, waifu, waifu. Tell, is that you?
What's up? What's up?
This is episode 203 of Mic Check Waifu Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Lube Complex. Make sure y'all go to lubecomplex.com and check out all of the spring sales they got going on. The summer drop that's coming out soon. Make sure you guys check them out at lubecomplex.com or at your local Spencer's or Hot Topic. You can find them there as well. Also, it's brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/MicCheckWaifuWaifu, where you can support us at $1 or above to get early access to the After Story podcast, bonus content like read-alongs, after-alongs, watch-alongs, all the longs, as well as plenty other perks. And it's also thanks to our producers that they keep the lights on. Shout out to the producers: Dre the Goat G, Johnny from Show Go High, Ked the Pro from Chaotic Culture and Show Go High, Explicitly, our artist, Monique Williams, Nachi, and Saphir. Thank y'all so much for supporting this and producing this and many other episodes of the podcast. We couldn't do it without y'all. Thank y'all so much for supporting us and getting all those perks over there on patreon.com/MicCheckWaifuWaifu. Episode 203. I got a topic. I didn't even fucking mention the topic before recording. So Tell's coming in completely fresh as to what we're doing right now. And I'm so sorry because I'm kind of putting you on the spot. I know I just thought about it just now. The fact that I didn't talk to you about it at all, which is bad on my part, but it's going to be fun for the show. I'll tell y'all that much. But before we get into that, I want to know just, how your week was going, how you feeling? Week's flying by, dude.
Yeah. Like that's one of the things we did say before we started recording. The weeks just fly
so fast.
They go ridiculously fast. But regardless of the breakneck pace,
yeah,
of the weeks, it's been solid, bro. No complaints. Apollo, I think this is his last week of kindergarten.
Oh, shit. Summer about to go out.
Yeah, we're excited about that. And he has his, we got a little cap and gown for him. So we're going to have like a little kindergarten graduation, just like how, and I don't know if everybody had like a kindergarten graduation, but I know when I was in kindergarten, I had a graduation. I got a little picture of my cap and gown and stuff. So we're going to do the same thing for him, let him live it up. But yeah, bro, it's been good. How you feeling, Polo?
Yeah, I've been tired. I'm just tired, man. I'm just so tired, bro. I got my eyes back, as you can see if you're watching the video version or early at Patreon. I got my eyes back so I can actually see now, which has been an adjustment because now my eyes wasn't used to seeing them for 2 weeks or seeing properly for 2 weeks. But now that I can actually see, I feel much better. Much better. But other than that, man, there's literally nothing going on. I'm excited to get back to working out. I actually miss it.
We back.
Even though I've been fucking dreading it because I'm having trouble just consuming water, bro. I just can't. I'm so sick of it. I am so sick of it. I haven't had a ginger ale in about a month. And
yeah, we from Cleveland, so ginger ale is normally on the list.
That's Robitussin to us, bro. That's what we drink to cure all ailments.
All of them.
Headaches, heartburn. You stub your toe.
I'm telling you, sleepy. Drink a ginger ale. You not sleepy, or you need to be awake. Drink a ginger ale.
Or you need to be asleep. You drink a ginger ale. It don't matter. Yeah. It don't matter what it is. That's our cure all for all. But I haven't had it in months, which is great. I lost a few pounds just by doing that alone. And
I'm happy.
Obviously working out too.
Hey, games.
Anyway, this is an anime podcast brought to you every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. CDT, where we discuss seasonal anime along with seasonal topics that come along with discussing those anime. And this time I got a doozy for y'all. So I'm gonna just say it straight up. If you haven't watched Heavenly Delusion episode 8 and Hell's Paradise episode 8, we're going to go into that conversation a little bit later as like the main topic, because my main topic kind of revolves around what both of those episodes did this particular week. And I cannot wait to discuss it because it's a very intriguing one. But before we do that, as we always start the show, man, I got to know what was your episode of the week. No, I'm going to start. Oshi no Ko is my episode of the week.
I knew you was gonna do that. I knew you was gonna do that shit right there, and that's why I already had it on the list of episode of the week for you. My episode of the week is Hell's Paradise.
That's a great one. Great one.
Yeah, I knew you was going. I knew if I said Oshi no Ko, you was gonna say Oshi no Ko, but I was like, Polo, feel like he got something good to say about this. So yeah. And
what's crazy is I can even incorporate Oshi no Ko into the topic I got for us to discuss, because it's crazy, man. I will say this: those three particular Heavenly Delusion, not so much, but Oshi no Ko and Hell's Paradise. Even Galaxy Next Door, but those three particular shows that just put this week on such a pedestal for me that I kind of forgot that I watched anything else. Like My Home Hero dropped today. I forgot I watched it until I looked over at my ID list on this other monitor. Like it's those just take up so much real estate in my brain right now, and it's because of how good they were in the subject matter. I am going to discuss it a little bit more in detail. I wish I can pull up we use Discord to record, so I can't pull up the messages from TCB, but yeah, it's some deeper stuff in that that I also wanted to just discuss. But before we do that, I wanted to first talk about what Hell's Paradise and Heavenly Delusion is. So again, if you haven't watched episode 8 of those two particular shows, I'm going to spoil it. This is kind of going to spoil it. So it's probably going to fuck up our spoiler talk entirely, because we're going to go into it.
We going straight into the topic?
I mean, you got something you want to add? No,
I'm saying that's what we doing. I love that. I love that.
Yes, I need to. And then I can go into Oshi no Ko, because I want to get into that too. What Hell's Paradise and the Heavenly Delusion both did, again, spoilers, they both went into things that we talk about quite a bit being important in the anime sphere, right? And that's just character development. Now, both of these episodes had characters that we did not spend much time with at all. Almost virtually. I mean, we may have a little bit more time with the characters that was focused in episode 8 of Hell's Paradise than we did in the characters that was in Heavenly Delusion, but the same is virtually the same thing that went on. But this goes to show how important that good characterization and good storytelling is when it comes to the depiction of what happened. So again, spoilers. If you don't know what happened, two very I wouldn't even say prominent for Heavenly Delusion, but they seem to have been, they wanted to make it seem as though those two are important. But in Heavenly Delusion, there was a doctor who was we thought being, a little bit more, I guess, antagonistic than we actually thought. And he had a deeper story. He had a deeper story about a girl who was literally dying, but if they let her die, then she would become a man eater. And that's what he wanted to avoid by any means necessary. And it was trying to be touching, it was supposed to be touching, but what it felt that, for me particular, again, these are all opinions, obviously. So anybody listening to this, you can completely disagree, and that'd be cool too. Like, I am totally okay with anybody disagreeing with me on this, but I just don't care. I just didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Even though, again, we spent a decent amount of time with them, basically the full episode, I just didn't care. So when the sensitive subject matter was supposed to get sad, I was bored. Okay. I was disinterested. I didn't really care what was going on. Maybe I was sad for the fact that it was a little girl, and I obviously don't want anything to happen to young little girls. I got nieces. I got all kinds of people in my life that I don't want anything bad to happen to, but the storytelling just wasn't there to capture me enough to where I felt attached to anything that was going on with this particular scene. Now, on a different spectrum, Hell's Paradise. Hell's Paradise had, again, characters we did not spend much time with at all. I mean, we spent maybe before this a half of an episode, maybe a third of an episode, and then this full episode with these particular characters. And I I was ready. My heart was broken. I was ready to cry. And I didn't spend much time with these people. I barely even knew them from a coat of paint. But it's just something about the way they depicted these characters and how important that they and how well they paced the story when it came to backstory placement or just, again, characterization in general. That
right.
I felt an emotional attachment to the characters that we lost. It hurt my feelings. Like I was sad, legitimately sad by the time the episode was over. I felt heartbroken. I started making up theories in my head. I'm like, man, what if everybody that died isn't really dead? And I just started going off, like trying to think of fucking ways to just, speculating and gut checking myself all the way through the episode, knowing the damn well that they're just probably dead.
Yeah.
And that's crazy because I'm like, man, I just did not feel this way about. I instantly compared the two because I watched one that right after another and they both did the exact same thing. And I was comparing it to it. And I'm like, damn, this is crazy how I just feel so much more for this character. Like Heavenly Delusion, one of our main characters could have died and I wouldn't give a fuck. I just wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
And that's crazy, man. That's crazy to me. I just want to talk about how important like characters are to the world itself, because I think that's a major underselling point when it comes to anime and how important characterization is. Sure. So, sorry, I just kind of popped off.
No, that was beautiful. One of the main things that came to mind when you said this, right? Because I think that this is probably the best episode of Heavenly Delusion. And I think that had Heavenly Delusion introduced itself to us differently, that this episode would have been a little bit differently or easier to perceive in a way that, like you said, that would have made you feel a little bit more emotional. And the word that came to mind was rapport, right? Polo and I used to work together. We both were very good on customer service and how we address clients and customers in general, right? Mm-hmm. So what Heavenly Delusion deluded itself to was the fact that they did not build an adequate enough rapport with us for the world. You know what I mean? That world could have been so much more. And it almost feels as if the way they introduced this disease in the man-eaters is segmented and disjointed. So like we almost have an issue with the rapport we have with the entirety of the series, right? Like, and I it's even a good example for like TCB, right? TCB is thoroughly enjoying the series because of, how he is doing it, right? So he's going to see this episode and he's going to be completely engrossed and in love with what's happening. Right. Because I thought, yes, this is a very impactful scene, but I do feel like you in a sense where it's like, okay, it didn't feel like it drove the story forward for me. And it could just be, like I said, the fact that my lack of rapport with this world is low. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't have that rapport with this world. But in Hell's Paradise, I was like, oh my God. I was like, no, not like this.
Yes.
And I was like, yes, like that. And I was like, oh no, not like this.
Yeah.
So the reality is that a lot of this is about how, and it's not even like judging a book by its cover. Mm-hmm. It's this book presented us with a different introduction and a different way of building this rapport, and we didn't have a choice but to be engrossed in it, whereas Heavenly Delusion kind of just didn't hit us the way it needed to for us to find this scene as impressive as it was intended to be. Because I don't think that this episode itself was bad. I just think that because of the anime is like, it makes me feel not as engulfed in it.
If I'm not engulfed, if I'm not captivated, if I'm mindlessly watching, how can the episode be good? That's how I feel personally. This is just me personally. I don't think the episode was good. And I don't think it was good because it did, like you said earlier, it did nothing to push the story forward. Wow. It still could have been impactful again if you built some rapport or any kind of like just anything. I can't believe that the spectrum of emotion was so vastly different for something so similar, because again, we did not have a lot of time with these characters on Hell's Paradise.
Exactly.
At all. Like you can almost say it was just maybe about 15 more minutes that we had with Hell's Paradise characters that we lost, and then Heavenly Delusions. But it's just something about the way the storytelling progressed and kind of told its narrative through the world and how impactful it is. Because it was like boom, they telling the story and then they go into the backstory, but the backstory was so smoothly interwoven within the situations that we found our characters in that I'm like, damn. Oh, and the guy that came through, his master that pulled up, how did I care so much about him? And it's the first fucking time I met him. This is the first time I met him. I'm like, I do not want to lose the master. I don't want the master to go either. But it was just enthralling. It was interesting. It was nothing like Heavenly Delusion. Heavenly Delusion just was, okay, this is the story. If she dies, she turns into a man-eater. Yes, we got more knowledge of the man-eater situation, but it was just kind of like thrusted onto us that why the fuck would I care? Why would I care? If she turned into a man-eater, what does it matter to our overarching story?
Right.
Where the fuck are we going? What are we even doing anymore? I'm tired of it.
Have we progressed in any way, shape, or form?
We have not gone anywhere. We don't go anywhere in this show, and it's beyond. Listen,
it's disheartening.
It's very disheartening, and I absolutely love the fact that people are loving it. Though I do love it. I can't understand it. I would love to discuss it with somebody just to have that conversation, that back and forth as to what makes it so special to them. Because to me, this shit is wholeheartedly non-existent. It's just shit happen, but kind of some scary moments maybe here and there, or like I just don't know. We're just not getting anywhere, and it's pissing me off. It kind of is making me angry, to be fair, because and that's only because we don't have much left. Yeah,
and what you said about this, yes, it does entirely also go with Oshinoko, right? Because we have also seen these characters, but the amount of time that we have spent with them has been also short, shallow, not a lot of time, right? But this episode was obviously quite it set a lot of points, especially some points that we strongly agree with about how you consume and mess with that stuff. But I don't want to go too much into it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm spoiling it. I don't care.
Forget it. Let's do it.
Let me talk about this real quick, because I think this is very important to me. And this what Oshinoko did, and TCB mentioned that this was loosely based off, because they did say it was all nonfiction and all that good stuff, but it was loosely based off of a situation that happened with a Japanese wrestler who endeared the same exact thing. I remember when the world lost her, and that was very, very sad. But I want to start off by saying that what Oshinoko did was so unbelievably good. Again, this was a character we did not spend a lot of time with at all. We spent hardly no time with her whatsoever. But it was just the characterization, the way the character story was told was so impactful that it invested me. Now there was one time I've a little personal, but there was one time in my life where I absolutely felt at rock bottom, complete rock bottom. And it is the heaviest feeling you can ever feel in your entire life. Like almost harder than losing that closest loved one to you. It's so hard when you feel like you hit that rock bottom.
Because you lost yourself.
I completely lost myself. Myself was gone. It was at the pits of hell, and it was not coming. It couldn't come back up from what I felt. Luckily, the one thing that pulled me out of it, and probably anybody could have probably pulled me out of it, but the one thing that pulled me out of it was my dog. For some reason, Saber he would look at me with what I would feel like would be a smile, even though dogs don't smile. It just felt like he was smiling at me like, look, Dad, we struggling right now, but I'm as happy as I've ever been. And that pulled me completely out of that. But I say that to say, watching this episode, I had to pause it a few times. And again, I'm not hypersensitive to the material I consume. It's never been like seeing something super violent makes me want to do violent. No, none of that, because nothing really affects me. This affected me, and it was because of how well it depicted that pit, that hellscape that you just feel like you cannot get out of. That poor girl, and it's no fault of her own. You watched her work as hard as she possibly could to be at least something, to be effective in any way, to just help not even herself, her management. Right. It wasn't for herself. It was for somebody else. And one small mistake brought her down to the pits of hell. And then social media.
Right.
Social media is a hellscape. If you haven't endured anything and you see what goes on social media, like I say this all the time, there's no fucking way I can listen. I love everybody that listens to our show, and I respect everybody that listens to our show. So don't take this the wrong way when I say this, but I can give two fucks of a shit dick what anybody says on the internet. I can care so little about it that I literally watch people argue on social media, full-blown arguments, full-blown blocks, and just full scale, like I'm mad at you, I hate you type, just mad, I hope you die, like all that kind of shit. I see it and I just say to myself, what does it matter? But there is some people who just tries and strives to validate either themselves or somebody or anything, and it kills them. It drags them down to that pit, because when you see it, you feel like nobody is on your side. And it was so well done that it scared me. I had to pause this episode a few times, stand up and just walk away, because I was in that pit with her at one point. Nothing to do with social media, but I was there, and it felt everything's black, everything's against you. You want to just tuck yourself and hide and sleep and eat and sleep and sleep and sleep and not wake up. Mm-hmm. It's hard. It's so hard. And they just did an extremely extraordinary job. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it just makes me want to say that, like, if you need to talk to anybody at all, it doesn't matter if it's the hotline or your mother, your father, your brother, your cousin, talk to anybody. And if anybody, don't matter who it is, like, I will be even willing to listen. Like, it doesn't matter. It's hard to be there and not have anything else to drag you out. It's tough. It was tough. It was a tough watch for me, but it was such a brilliant, well directed, well shot episode that I could not speak on it either.
Well, Pelos said all the words. I ain't even
sorry,
gonna hold you.
Sorry, man.
No, look, that's beautiful, because
it's been an unbelievable week.
I can't add nothing to that. Like, I get it, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm so sorry.
I get it. It's like, so I've never had a moment where I felt, you know, like I said, that low.
Thank God.
And I was even this morning, I'm just talking to my wife. I was like, I miss my grandmother, and that's the lowest I can really feel for some things. But it's like they demonstrated that situation extremely well. So well. They demonstrated the descent extremely well, and there are so many people who, and oddly enough, it's always people who lack the self-ego, right? Mm-hmm. Because they show that this character did not have that ego to necessarily just specifically defend herself, but it was always for somebody else around her, and especially in those comments, you know? So it's like, the people who get hurt the most by this are not people with huge egos. You know what I mean? Yeah. Huge ego people, they not gonna care. They gonna be almost like us, where we just like, I ain't trying to indulge in that, but there's people who are gonna be, my ego too big to even worry about what Absolutely. That has to say. But this person obviously has a more community-driven personality. Therefore, when you see that
high school,
right? And that's crazy, right? Too, because that's all how your parents raise you. And I'm gonna be real with you. I feel like I wish my mom didn't raise me with such a community set mindset, but I'm also happy that she raised me in the sense to where I don't really care all that much. I don't really care all that much. But it's like, to see it and how it played out in this scenario, and watching someone's descent. And that's what made it all that much better, is that we got to see the actual work, because we saw the work before this, just wasn't mentioned as much. Then we get more of that work in this, and all the mentioning and growth that we see in this to see it get to that point. And then, you know, further on, it's just like, those are the people who are the most at risk. People who actually care about others significantly more than they care about themselves are those people that I don't want to see fall into this pit trap. Yeah. you got to love yourself as much as your community.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I'm telling y'all now, man, it is such a waste of time, breath, and effort to argue with anybody that's behind a phone keyboard. It just means so little. It means so little that their opinion is different than yours, that it don't, like, I would disagree with so many of our friends, but it does not matter. It doesn't. I will still have a conversation with them, talk about why we disagree, and then move on. There is no reason to get angry at somebody else for having a different opinion or voice than you. It's just, it's not worth it.
And I'm willing to go a step further and say it's not worth it to argue with somebody that's even in front of you.
Yes. Yeah.
It ain't worth it. Yes, especially if you don't have that self-control to not control yourself so that person don't get out of hand. Because I know how I used to be. Yeah. It's not worth it. Come on, man. Especially in this time. Everybody got something on them. We all got guns at this point. Not everybody, but we all got them. So it's like, hey, it ain't even worth it. It's not even worth it. Just go ahead and be a better person and learn how to walk away. And your opinion is 100% valid for you. It ain't got to be valid for nobody else but you. So just go ahead and walk away from that situation.
Absolutely. There's nothing more fun than even just having a conversation with somebody you disagree with. Hell, me and Tel don't agree on all the time at all. But it's still so much fun to talk to them. Like I'm telling you, it's the best. It's the best feeling ever. Man, listen. This week has been such a great week for anime for me that it all kind of validate why I feel like this has been the greatest, one of the best seasons there have been. Even though next season probably will be better. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I took a little sneak peek, even though we're not doing our summer preview yet. I took just a little sneak peek.
We're almost there.
It's gonna absolutely destroy spring. But this one is just, again, it's not a lot. I wish I had more. You know what I'm saying? I wish I had more to watch, because
spring is exactly what it's supposed to be. It's fresh. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not all about all the things that are returning. It's about some of this fresh stuff. Some of this fresh stuff is fire, bro.
Yeah. Even a lot of people picked up. A lot of people last week picked up "Dangers in My Heart." Dude, that touched me to see a lot of people starting to watch that. It's actually really good. Once you get past the first 2-3 episodes, you kind of like, okay, I don't know about this, but then you get through it. It's like, oh, this shit's fire, and it's just, their relationship is so cute that I just can't get enough of it now, or lack thereof relationship. It's so natural. It feels so good to watch. I'm enjoying it.
I had a question for you real quick.
Yes, sir.
Are we gonna bring Kubo into spoiler talk, or you just want to talk about a little bit of Kubo right now?
Are we even gonna have a spoiler talk? I kind of spoiled
we high key. We don't even need to have a spoiler talk because we didn't spoil a couple of the ones that should be in spoiler talk.
I'm sorry, all right, y'all. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It's fine, because we can go ahead and go all the way through. Yeah. But hear me out. Kubo won't let me be invisible, and I'm not comparing this specifically to like Angel Next Door or Galaxy Next Door, but I do want to make a comparison. And I think that the comparison I want to make is the fact that we can't compare everything to Galaxy Next Door because these are adults.
Yeah,
but the affection that we see in the development we see with these childlike characters, because we remember being children, we just had way more charisma and confidence, right? So we remember being children, but what happens in Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible? I love this show, bro. I'm happy it's back. This is a good episode. I don't know if you feel that same way, but I was watching this episode. I'm just like, I miss this guy.
Me too. Absolutely agree with you.
Yeah. The whole like walking scene, and just his thought process is. It's immaculate. I was gonna say I can't say immaculate, but it is. Like him looking at, I can't let her just carry these groceries in, and she's very similar to her sister. Sure. and getting to that point to where the little girl even asks, what are y'all? Are y'all friends? Are y'all this? And he's like, no, we're not friends. We're less than friends, because he perceives himself a certain way. I love it. And then you compare to things like Galaxy Next Door, where you can have a very similar situation, but because these are adults, they're very upfront. Like they're I'm not gonna say very upfront, but they're more upfront than what you would expect like from these children. These adults are kind of laying it on the line and saying, this is what I feel. And they might not say exactly what they felt in that moment, but they break it down eventually. So it was really nice to have that contrast this week with Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible come back. It was like, it hit me with so much goodness, bro.
Yeah, everything that you're describing right now is the reason why I want you so bad to watch Dangerous in My Heart. Like, so bad. Because what you said is so on the tee. It's so on the tee for tell that you have to just give this a go. Like, again, the first three is going to be a little, like, I don't know. And then if you just continue, you'll feel exactly how I'm feeling. What I like about both of them and what you mentioned too almost perfectly was how natural it just feels, man. How natural it feels for the main character and how unnatural it feels for the main character in The Dangers of My Heart. It's so very, very, very important that you depict all kinds of spectrums when it comes to this particular situation. Not just the one. And even when you think about it, Comey can't communicate. That's another one that did this extremely well for somebody who's suffering through some stuff. It's all just so good. Like, anime has been unbelievable. You know, one thing I want to do, Tell?
What's that?
I want to go through our list since we started this podcast and see how many anime have we watched per season. We don't have to do that we don't have to do that this week because I know that takes a little bit of time because we've been doing this for a long time, since 2019. So I would like to do that though, because I just want to see how much we've literally consumed throughout these few years, like per season. Because I feel like when you think about it or when you look at it and you say, yeah, I'm watching 16 shows this season, that doesn't seem like a lot to us. It doesn't feel like a lot since we've been watching it, but it's so much. It's a lot.
And ironically enough, like what you said, you're watching 16, I'm watching 16. There have been seasons where we were watching more.
Yeah, exactly. Like last season.
Yeah.
So I just kind of want to see where we are as far as like.
Maybe we'll do that with the summer update. We'll do that, and we'll do the summer preview, and then we'll also go in and do the talk about what we did watch over the seasons.
Let's take a look. Let's look at some. When does summer happen? Like June 22nd or some shit?
Yeah, I could ask Google real quick.
Yeah. Let's ask Google. Find out when summer starts.
Hey Google, when does summer start?
Y'all can't hear.
Summer will start on Wednesday, June 21st, and will end on Saturday, September 23rd, Central Time.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, so June 21st. So literally 30 days from now, which means that we're going to probably do the preview 2 weeks before that.
Mm-hmm.
So, or a week before that. Well, whichever show comes out first. You know what I mean? That's kind of how we do that.
Yeah. But that'll give us some time to wrap up what we got here.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully, near our time to come back, we can get Rob on for that review of that. Fucking Demon King. Wait, no, not Demon King. What's it called? Yeah.
Misfit Demon King.
The Misfit Demon King comes back as well. I'm not gonna hold you. I kind of popped off so much earlier. I don't even know where to go from here. We don't have a spoiler talk this week.
No, we good. We can,
I guess you know what? We can't spoil. We can spoil Demon Slayer.
Yeah, but there's still like stuff we didn't talk about, right? Because we did talk about Hell's Paradise, but we ain't going to like real spoils with it, right?
I guess so.
So let's do this. For the stuff we already talked about that has slight spoilers, let's just finish that off, and we'll take Demon Slayer into spoiler talk. We just give Demon Slayer its own moment.
Let's do it.
All right. So, Hell's Paradise from like the jump, right? Let me go ahead and pull up the character list and stuff, just so I can have it all there. So Blonde Boy.
Do they even have his name inside of the fucking thing?
It's gotta be here.
It's not. That's the crazy part.
It's 1,000 of these characters, bro.
It's so many.
Oh, here you go. Tenza.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, all right. So essentially, last episode we ended off with them having a conversation talking about the the Tan or the Tannin. They are the ones who are essentially the gods of the island. They inhabit the island. They're the ones who have all the powers and make sure humans don't escape from the island. And we kind of assumed, our gut check was that somebody was gonna run into these dudes. I feel like it was just significantly worse though than I actually expected. Like I expected it to be like a body bag, but not quite. I'm not quite as hopeless as this looked, right?
Right.
Like this looked like there really literally was no option, no chance. It just is. So we start off more or less with Tenza and the girl. I can't remember her name, but they're at the like shore, obviously, because they just returned back, and they see this beautifully elegant woman come from the sky, and she's got the green and like pink hair and stuff, and she lands, because these Tenzin or whatever Tannin, they have the fluorescent neon colored like hairstyles and stuff like that, which beautiful to show the differences, right? They're supposed to be immaculate and no blemishes. And essentially Tenzin or Tenza attacks. He's like, look, we can't do nothing with this. Straight up goes on the offensive, cuts him, is like, boom, receiver generate. We can't do nothing about this. Turn around and run. I love it because that's what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
In the face of overwhelming power.
Yeah. No, you
Turn around and run.
Just go.
But hear me out though. Cause like I've seen scenes like this where they see something like that and it's like, well, if I just give up and they just fall to their knees, that kind of thing.
Yep.
While I completely understand that philosophy, because it's like, how am I gonna do this? I already can't escape the island one. And then this unkillable thing comes in front of me. I slash it at the best of my ability and it's not even phased. So now I gotta turn around and run.
I gotta get the fuck up out of here.
Right, get out of Dodge, right? So Tenza gets out of Dodge. And what is her name, bro? Why can't I remember her name? I guess it's 1,000 of these characters.
So many.
I didn't even realize it was this many damn characters, bro. Well, okay, the little black girl with the locks or puff curls. I don't know what's going on with her hair, but either way, Nurage.
Close enough.
Nurage. All right, we're gonna say that.
We didn't spend. That's the crazy part. We didn't spend enough time to even get to learn her names well enough, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Because that wasn't the emphasis of this episode, right? The emphasis was Tenza. So Tenza and Nuru, they get away, because I'm gonna call her Nuru from on. They run away, they break into the forest trying to get away.
Yeah, let's skip to right into the fucking backstory.
To the meat and potatoes?
Yeah, the backstory I think is not detriment, but imperative to why we feel the way we feel about the impact of the story. Because I mean, him starting off and him being the thief that the girl was, whatever the girl name is, him being the thief that she was, it's all the more reason why I understood his character from what was that 3 episodes back when they showed them two together on the shore. Like he saw himself within her. And instead of him being some jerk to like, I'm your executioner and that's all I'm gonna worry about, and being completely stale and flat, it was more of an understanding and more of just a caring perspective because of what he went through.
And he learned that from his master.
He learned it from the compassion from his master. And I think that's so important to why I probably felt that emotional attachment to that situation that happened, because I can't say I know a lot of shows that do that well.
Right.
I can't think of any.
But so yes. And the beauty of that was the fact that the master senpai essentially showed him and her that same affection all over again. And in that process, they kind of gave us the backstory as to why that would even be a thing that he would do, right? And the fact that his sensei is like blind. I was like, yo, no, he's got to be some kind of monster. But overall, this ends up leading to the fact that Tenza fights the god thing by himself. Essentially showing that he has proven some skill, and we even got that the way they did the backstory, we knew he had to go, right? Like we knew with the way they told that backstory, we had to get Tenza up out of here
everywhere. Yeah.
But what made it good was that it showed that even though Tenza chose to continue training under his master, even after completing his goal, which was to just land a hit on him, that Tenza completed something. You know what I mean? He went from this thief character, this delinquent character, to an honorable character, a loving character, an emotionally caring character, and then a character who sacrifices the last of himself for his master, and essentially what is also considered a criminal who is to be executed. You know what I mean? A death row inmate, essentially. And I think that they did that at a pace that was elegant enough to not make it seem misplaced, right? If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It was the timing in which they did everything, because if they set up that last episode so well to just let this entirety be the entire episode, and that's what made it so good, is that it was just perfectly positioned to be this way for us.
I think you said something that kind of hit the nail on the head. The prior episode led to this one, and I think that's what's making it so enthralling when it comes to like his storytelling itself, because it's unbelievable to get to somewhere where I feel like we can possibly move forward. Is like something tells me, and again, I said this earlier, this is just me huffing some copium, as the Twitch kids would say. But I feel like they're not gone. I feel like everybody that has died on this island is not gone. Now, it could either be one or two things, and only two things. Two or one, they just blow everybody back, and this is just Hell's Paradise. Everybody just get blown back. Or two, something along this island, maybe if it's the elixir or fucking Dragon Ball wish, whatever it is, makes me feel like that this isn't the last of these characters. Because there's something deeper, and maybe it's not. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. I feel it I feel a Jonesing in my bones, and that there's more to this island, that to where the people that's dead aren't really dead, or they are dead, and
we know they're not.
They could be alive again. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, because I was gonna say, they said they don't kill people; they just use them infinitely for the elixir. Hear me out. I kind of, because I don't want this to go Akame got killed, Juni Taisen route, right? I don't want it to just like everybody dies. But I do feel like there needs to be some permanence. In some of these deaths, right?
Sure, and it can be. That's when this is you just fucking sit me down a rabbit hole when you mention two absolutely disappointing shows. But Akame got killed did it for fucking shock value, and it wasn't even a good story on top of it. Like, it just happened, and then from when it happened once, it just kind of domino effect to give you the shock value. This feels different. This felt different from moment one, and same with Juni Taisen. Like, it's just different. It just feels more impactful, more involved. But again, I just feels like there's more to it. I don't think this show hasn't been simple since episode one. Nothing has been simple about it whatsoever, and I feel like there's just more.
And that's what you said when we talked about heavenly delusion, is that this world just gives you more. It's something about it just says there's still more. And yeah, we know that in shows like Heavenly Delusion there is more, but this show is like there's more, and it's like it's pulling at your heartstring almost to say, just give me more, then tell me more. Yeah. So yeah, 100%, I get it. I mean, it's 100% worth it in that scenario.
Heavenly Delusion just feels so different. It's just a buddy cop movie where nothing happens but buddy cop stuff, and the buddy cop stuff is getting so old. I can't gel with it. I can't. Again, I feel like we complain about it every week, and we should.
I'm not trying to complain about it, but they need to stop showing us the map if we're not making any progress on the map. But like I said, I do think this episode was the most interesting, and to me was the best episode that they've had since like episode 1. But
I think
it wasn't enough.
I think the episode where they got to the end and the lady was trying to protect her son, quote unquote, was the best episode.
That was episode 2. Oh, was that episode 1? No, that was episode 1.
Was that?
Yeah, that was episode 1.
That's crazy.
Yeah. so I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, brother.
That's crazy.
But I do think that there needs to be like the progress needs to be streamlined. That's all it is. The director needs to say where we're going and just kind of take us there.
It's not even like it's doing anything that's captivating or secretive like Summertime Rendering did. It's not even or 86. It's not doing anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's got the fishing pole, just not the bait.
Yeah. And we've been fishing baitless for 8 episodes. And then to move on.
Cheat skill.
Huh?
Oh,
I was gonna go to Demon Slayer.
Oh, we going to Demon Slayer? Let's do it. Let's do Demon Slayer.
Let's go to Demon Slayer. This is now again. We usually break between spoiler talk, but we're not gonna. There's no reason to break. This episode is going to be short. I'm sorry, but it's a very powerful episode, so we're just gonna leave it like it is. Demon Slayer, most recent episode. Now this one, episode 8. Episode 7. We're going to spoil episode 7 right here, right now. So if you haven't seen episode 7 of Demon Slayer, you can turn this off and come back when you have watched it. This episode was interesting. I feel like it wasn't for us. I feel like it was for the anime ladies, you know, and their ability to find some husbandos, you know. Wasn't really much going on as far as progression goes outside of the small happenings between Tanjiro and his fucking now the fusion of all the the Majin the cell fusion of all the fucking temperaments. It's fucking what are we gonna do? We could barely beat them separated. Now this demon is even more of a demon because all the demons are all put together. Well,
so that's not what they showed though, right? They only showed that the anger demon took in 2 of the demons, which means there's still 1 more left, right?
He got them all.
He got them all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when they was telling that story, it was because he went to because Ginyu was talking about the spear dude. The spear dude was the last one. He got 2 of them at the same time, which was plus himself. That's 3 already. And then the spear dude got taken over, and Ginyu mentioned the fact that he was against it. He was against going inside of it, which seems to have some kind of implications. But when he turned into that demon, I'm like, man, fuck, how? What did we do here? So
we know that still the little one is the weakness, right? Got to kill the little one. But the sense of righteousness that this hatred demon has is wild, bro.
Crazy, right?
The first thing he did was call him villain. You killed 100, 200 plus people. Like, did they have anything to do with you? No. Mm-hmm. All right, so why do it matter? Because you still killing 200 plus people. Calm down. Can you slow down a bit? If it was like maybe 10 people because you got to eat kind of thing, that's different. You had body 500 now, bro. Can you cook? But yes,
Tanjiro's logic was too logical for even that demon. So I was getting pissed. He was like, shit, you're right.
Right. But I think that the presentation of this new demon form, it goes to kind of demonstrate what you were saying, right? Because Tanjiro can't beat this upper 4 demon by himself. And I was saying, nah, Tanjiro gonna pull it off. Nah, that's not what this looking like. It's looking like Tanjiro gonna need help.
Fuck is the love Hashira? What is she doing?
She's solidifying a space for the chief and everybody else. She's making sure everybody is solid, right? Maybe, I don't know.
No, that's big true.
We was definitely wrong though on our gut checks.
100%. But that's why I love having them. You know what I mean? I love having the gut checks because for us to be able to look back and say, "Damn, we fucked that up." And I don't think we've ever been this fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, hear me out though. Like this, so not like this wasn't like, I guess I can't say it was like the best episode of Demon Slayer. It wasn't like particularly good. It was like okay, but I feel like the prediction, the fact that we couldn't guess where it was heading, almost like kind of makes it better.
Yes, I agree.
But it's like, okay, what happens next? What does happen next? The love Hashira, she pulls up. Is she going straight to Tanjiro and helping? Is the Mist dude gonna be alive at the end of this? Because we know he's poisoned and stabbed through the face and limbs. Is he gonna be the one to bring Tanjiro his sword? What's happening here?
Or is the Mist Hashira gonna try to use Tanjiro's sword? Because they kept implicating that, you know, he doesn't have his sword. This one's all chipped up. But you know damn well he shouldn't be using that goddamn sword. It's Tanjiro's, bro.
But if dude is a beast like that to use a chipped up sword, imagine what he have with a 300-year-old perfectly sheet metal sword that's being refined by the strongest person in the village.
I don't know, man. It's been interesting to see where this goes, because every time I want to say let's gut check it, I feel like it's impossible for us to even know where to go. You know? Yeah.
We don't know what's happening next, man. We don't know.
We really don't.
I think Tanjiro needs help though.
Big time.
Because he can't beat this demon by himself.
Correct. As confident as he's been, which I love, by the way. I love his character growth and with how confident he's been getting when it comes to fighting these uppers, bro. Because he's been like, I could do it. And that's just been that. It's like not once have I felt like he was ready to give up like it was in previous fights.
Yeah, but it's not even the I can do it mentality that makes it so good. It's the I don't have a choice but to do it mentality. You know what I mean?
And seeing him as capable as viewers. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I definitely see him as capable.
Yeah, I don't care what Genya is saying. He not beating Tanjiro. He not beating bro, you can't even breathe. You ain't got no demon breathing. Straight up. Like, I need you to figure it out before you gonna challenge Tanjiro to taking down Upper Moon first, because it's gonna be Tanjiro every single time.
Listen, I don't know how it's gonna move, because again, looking at it, let's see, there is going to be, is this in different cores? Because I think it said prior to this week, apparently it said 11 episodes. I'm not sure if that's still the same or
because they don't show the final episode anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah, so maybe it's another core to this, but it's coming up quick. It's coming up quick because 8 is next week.
So we about to gut check it.
Let's try it.
Oh man, so we was wrong last week. Hear me out.
We're gonna be probably wrong this week too.
I'm not worried about Miss Hashira. He got that. He gonna handle that. And I think it's gonna be a dominant showing. Like, he's gonna be like, not necessarily he remembers who he is, but he's a lot more competent on who he is himself now.
I'm gonna say this now. I agree with you. That's where I was going.
I do think that whatever he's fighting now he gonna end that quickly, but not necessarily quickly. But I think he's gonna end it, and it's not gonna be like a huge demonstration for him.
It's gonna be a breathing technique and done. That's what I think. Right.
This what Tanjiro dealing with though, I think it's gonna be a different level, right? Because I think that there's gonna be a vast difference in the strength. Like you were saying, Tanjiro can't beat this one by himself, and I don't even think the love how she was gonna be able to beat it by himself, beat it by herself. I think that they're gonna need all 4 of them: Tanjiro, Genya, Love, and Mist to actually be able to get them.
Okay, let me interject here. I think the Mist is going to be the one to take Tanjiro the sword, and he's going to collapse. So he's gonna be out of this fight. But the Love Hashira and Tanjiro with his new sword is gonna be the ones to take up the mantle, and Genya, but Genya kind of like over there. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's going to be the fight, and the Love Hashira gonna take some hits. Tanjiro gonna take some hits again. It's gonna be kind of like, and I hate to say this, kind of the same song and dance. And this is just for the next episode where they're getting their ass stomped until
they get that sword.
Yep.
And the sword is gonna awaken the birthmark on his forehead. That's what it is. Now, what's Nezuko doing during all of this though?
Oh, she popping off too. I forgot.
She popping off. I was gonna say Nezuko ain't just sleeping. Because she's become
nights long as fuck, bro.
I'm telling you, I swear. They be like, how long is nighttime in Japan? Apparently forever. When you're fighting demons, the nighttime just be like, I'm gonna come slow.
What's crazy is that all this is probably just happening in the span of like an hour, maybe not 30. Even, probably not even. Yeah, you're probably right. So it's just crazy how this shit moves, man. I was
gonna say, because dude been in the bubble for 4 episodes at this point, right?
Straight up.
3 or 4 episodes. Ain't no way it been just as longer than 30 seconds. He's still breathing that long. Sheesh.
Captivating.
It is though. Like I said, they don't miss in the episode. I don't think, like, for instance, we being petty, the beginning, the opening ain't as good as it used to be, or the previous one. But if we talking about the actual episodes themselves,
are you talking about the song?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's only 2 shows that ain't getting skipped for your boy. I already talked about that. And that's Hell's Paradise and Tony Kawa. Those are only 2 intros that ain't getting skipped.
The way that they're actually doing like things in the episode to continue at least making it interesting in terms of like sound design. Like even when the episode isn't like hitting on all cylinders for action, everything else is still good. Like, hear me out. The Wood Dragon CGI
looks so good.
Oh my god, bro. That was ufotable fake movie quality 100%. CGI right there. And I was like, yo, them Wood Dragons look dope. And I was like, ugh. And they layered the 2D anime version of Chandra on top of it. I was,
how can we even be surprised anymore, though? You know,
I was though, because I was like,
that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. That's what's crazy. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. Is the fact that we agree. We still to this day, after 3 seasons, talking about how fucking amazing this show looks. It can't be touched, man. It can't be touched. And no, I saw this question on the timeline. No animation doesn't carry a show. I'll be the first to tell you that. It doesn't. Because I watched all of, what's that shit called? Is it even worth remembering?
Exactly.
But I watched it all and it was pretty good, even though the animation was ass. You know, so it's like, it doesn't. But this show is just the cherry on top of a fucking Sunday that's spectacular. And that's that, because I'm at Polo Born Fly on all social media.
I'm at King Teliano on all social media.
You can follow our social medias at Mike Check Waifu on Twitter and at Mike Check Waifu on Instagram and TikTok. And as always, Mike Check.
You're now tuned into Mike Check Waifu.